Welcome to the Compass Method, powered by Purpose and Plants, where science meets soul and thriving begins when you find your true north. Hosted by Dr. Yolanda Rivera-Caudill, a double board certified physician, mother of three, and founder of the Tiny Beat Lifestyle Medicine and Pediatric Clinic, and
Chelsea Dye, a certified lifestyle medicine coach, wellness strategist, and creator of Alchemist Untamed. This show brings the real science to real life, powered by our passion project, Purpose and Plan.
Each episode explores how small shifts in food, movement, mindset, and family life can create massive results. Together, Dr. Yolanda and I share a compass for better life, a grounded guide to plant-forward health, brain-body balance, and modern motherhood.
From pediatric wellness and family health to neuroscience, nutrition, and mindset mastery, we will help you pause with a purpose, align your habits with your values, and rediscover what it means to thrive.
Powered by Purpose and Plants, because thriving begins when you're powered by Purpose and Plants. Welcome to the Compass Method. I am Chelsea Dye.
I'm Dr. Yolanda Rivera-Caudill.
And together we have Purpose and Plants. We are bringing you health and wellness made easy, using lifestyle medicine principles to help you find your true north. And today we are talking about, we're ending out colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, CRC. And while this is a topic that may not seem necessarily relevant to you, in our research, what we found was, first of all, it's shocking. The statistics are shocking that it's the number one killer of people under the age of 50. And then in addition to it, 1 in 25, I'm going to have to check this statistic, but 1 in 25 men will be impacted in their life, and 1 in 26 women will be personally impacted. So that's a big deal. So risks, we will be talking about hidden risks and then smart fixes, because we're all about giving you the solutions that you have control over in order to empower you.
And there is a lot of talk, even ads, on how to screen. Mm-hmm. But we want to move a little bit before that. Mm-hmm. You know, we want that screen comes back perfect, whether you do it at home or you do it with the doctors. The screening is great. This is not going to be in one or the other. Yeah. We want to do both. But this is so the screen comes back good, clean. And because there's a lot of prevention that we can do. And as usual, lifestyle medicine, lifestyle changes are what we concentrate on, we like to talk about, and there's so much that we can do.
Well, and just to give a refresh for anyone who's new to our show or new to lifestyle medicine, there are 6 pillars. We focus on 5 of them: mindset, movement, sleep, nourishment, community, and
medication. We said that.
Mindset, movement, sleep, nourishment, and community.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then today, actually, we're going to talk about the sixth one, which is substances.
Yeah.
Because this has to do with that too.
Exactly. So the 6th pillar of lifestyle medicine, which we focus less on in our internal Purpose and Plants, which is an academy and basically a solution-driven education for anyone out there. But we focus on the things that you can control. And there's one extra component that today we'll be focusing on in addition, which is what you are not doing, things that we suggest not to do. So let's dive into the hidden risks and the smart fixes. So I think we should start with some of the things that a lot of our audience, and maybe even some of us here, may be doing that, unbeknownst to you, might elevate your risk for colorectal cancer and all types of cancers.
And I like this quote that it says that many risks are not hidden because they're rare, but they're hidden because they're being considered normal.
Yeah.
And that's when it's all over it's so in front of you that you don't see it, because everybody does it, and it's the same thing. So this is one of the scariest things. This is so true that. Yeah, you don't see it. It's all, everybody's doing it, and everybody that's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, The first one that is only the tip of the iceberg is the alcohol consumption, and that now I believe that alcohol consumption is at its 90-year low. So a lot of the younger populations have reduced their consumption. However, it does enhance your risk. Regular alcohol consumption, even within moderation,
Yes.
enhances your risk.
Yeah.
So
There is no, unfortunately, I have to say, there is no safe limit, of consuming alcohol. And it does increase the risk. And even for example, for women that are considered to be pregnant soon, or like planning, that's another layer of complexity. But it's a risk. And then that trend that you're mentioning, I love to see. I see a lot of mocktails in the mix, which is a great thing to see. Yes.
So the next one is the lack of fiber in the diet. So only 5% of the average American population gets enough fiber, which is kind of shocking.
And in children, it's horrible too. I think the babies, because they have no choice, are the ones through childhood that have the highest level of fiber in their diet. But adolescents, it goes into the trash, the numbers, the single digits. And some of the fiber foods that they say they consume is French fries.
Ugh. Well, and that actually, these two sort of piggyback on one another. So the lack of fiber is indicative of so many people lacking whole plant-forward, plant-based foods, because really that's the only way that you're going to get fiber is the whole plant-based foods. And then to touch on what you said about the adolescent population, so over 50% of, and I'll have to, I'll link it in the notes, but I believe over 50% of the American population's, adult American population's diet consists of highly processed foods, ultra-processed foods, but the teenage population, they consume the highest amount above the adults, and up to 65% of their diet is ultra-processed foods. Most of that is devoid of fiber, although there is a trend now where there are these bars and chips and all of it that say added fiber.
Because the label says,
yes. But we're talking about real whole food fiber, and then loaded with additives, and some of those are highly dangerous and elevate your risk of colorectal cancer and really any kind of cancer. So if you want to speak a little bit more about, some of the processed foods that have become normalized in lunch specifically.
Oh, well, about the processed meats. Processed meats, it's a very scary thing. This is one of those things that I was thinking, like it's hidden because it's in front of everybody's plate. Pepperoni, I think is the most common pizza in the United States. Pepperoni, hot dogs, any of those processed meats, lunch meats, they have a label by WHO of being a carcinogen, a known carcinogen. It's not that it might, we know that it does. It is a carcinogen. There's no doubt about that.
That's all kinds of cancer, not only...
Or a carcinogen, but yes, yes, exactly. But colon
Yeah.
cancer is one of the most common
exactly.
association.
But that, I'm just, drawing our attention to that because we think, oh, okay, well, I might not be at risk of colorectal cancer.
Yeah,
but,
yes.
But
No,
it's all kinds of cancer.
And then it's the thing that the poison, the dose makes the poison, because an apple, the seed of the apple has cyanide.
Yes.
Do you know that?
Yes, I
So
do.
if I eat an apple with the whole seed, I'm not going to die of cyanide poisoning. But if I eat one hot dog, I'm not going to die of any cancer if, I've never had hot dogs. But if I eat hot dog every day, if I eat pepperoni pizza the next day, if I eat that every day, sometimes several times a day, for many years, you can do the math. And that's where the problem exists. And again, as a pediatrician, I can imagine this happening in children over a period of time. So we're seeing, where we're talking this morning with Kim, that we're seeing more cancer in younger population, and now they're asked to be screened earlier because, and part of the reason is they've been exposed to these type of things for many, many years.
Yeah, and to touch on what you said, we were on WSAV Community Corner with Kim Gusby, and she did ask a really good question. Why now does it seem like so many people are being diagnosed and passing away of colon cancer? And, what came first, the chicken or the egg, is the real question. Are we screening more and seeing more of and able to identify, or is it this compounding effect of all these kids that, like, similar to my age, which I am in my mid-40s, and I'm a kid, yeah. But I remember the Lunchables being all the craze, packed.
I packed them to my kids. It was very easy, and they loved it.
Exactly. And even to this day, but if you look at the ingredients, even though they've cleaned them up a bit, but if you look at the ingredients of yesteryear, they're filled with carcinogens. And
you can do, it's just be mindful. Knowing, I think there's so much power in knowledge. Knowing that this is a problem, it's just a matter of let's fix it. And again, I always say there is not making it food prohibited and God forbid, and don't do that. It probably wants them to have it more. So it's just like, if it's not out of sight, out of mind, if it's not in the house, they go to a party and they got it, fine. But it's not something that they're doing every day. And the same thing goes with adults. This is not just the kids, but the kids, is my soft spot.
Yeah, of course. And, as a parent, I personally, and, you've gone through parenting and been through these struggles, but I know that a lot of the things that we've normalized as a culture from a consumption standpoint and even from an activity standpoint used to not be normal or normal. They've become acceptable, like sitting in front of a screen for hours on end was not what it used to be. But before we dive into that, the principle of crowding out is so powerful. It's really simple. It's not always easy, but it is a pretty low-hanging fruit, so that if you're struggling with those, packing a lunch that has processed meats, putting in other things and reducing the amount, even if you choose not to fully eliminate it, I think it's so powerful.
It has power at so many levels. It teaches them the variety that you want them to consume. It gives them options, and they're going to be very hungry at the end of the day. This is when you want to have the fruits, or even dry fruits or nuts or anything that is not a processed type of food, or ultra processed. And that they're more willing to take it when they're hungry. And another thing that I also like the snacks, it's okay that the kids go hungry, that?
Oh gosh, yes.
It's okay. It's okay that they're hungry. Right before they don't have to be eating the whole time. Right before dinner time, they're going to be more willing to eat whatever you put in the plate if they're hungry. That's a human thing, not just a kid thing. But
so
go ahead,
then,
move on.
Building on fiber, so before we move on to some of the other lifestyle components that contribute to our risk and then what we can do about it, the fiber challenge, the lack of fiber does increase the risk, but finding fiber in everyday life is not as hard as one would think. And while Dr. Yolanda and I are plant-forward, plant-based, in fact, you don't have to be plant-based. However, building your meals on fiber is really important, meaning that you're having the diversity, the whole grains, the whole minimally processed grains, if possible, which are like quinoa and rice and lentils and beans and and fruits and vegetables, and with kids, and oats. And with kids, it's pretty easy to get them, for most kids, to eat the fruits and the seeds or the berries. And so starting there is a really good point.
And there's some things that it's just, again, a matter of acknowledging that this is something we can do that is in our power. And I tell the parents, for example, most kids like pancakes. sprinkle some chia, some flaxseed in there, or make them put some sweet potato and make them like more colorful. And they, it's like, oh, it's a colorful pancake. Beets, you can put it in the pancakes. You can make them fun, and it's something they're curious about it.
Chickpea brownies.
Yes.
Black
or
bean
with
or
beans,
chick-
black
yeah,
beans.
black bean or
Who
chickpea.
knew that you can make brownies or black beans?
Exactly.
And they're really good.
It's so there was a piece of data. Hold on, let me see if I can find it about fiber, and that 10 extra grams of fiber foods daily lowers your risk of colorectal cancer by 10%. 10 extra grams of fiber a day. And so that is not a substantial amount.
Every little bit. It counts.
Yes,
I did it. I
baby
said that.
steps, baby steps, right? Do we want to talk any more about the food component before we move to?
No, I think we talked a little bit about fiber.
Okay.
We need it.
Yeah, we
Our
absolutely.
gut. Actually, we need it because our intestinal guts need it, not for any other reason, which is intestine. Very interesting.
Yeah, and our guts, and all of the byproduct of all of this, and especially the two that we talked about, the reduction of ultra processed foods and specifically meats, and then the addition of fiber is so good for our gut, which is good for our brain, helps with mood, skin, all of the other things too. So it's like you're lowering your risk and you're enhancing your longevity and perhaps your beauty as well.
Oh yeah.
So the other one that I think is often overlooked is long periods of sitting that actually can increase the rate of colorectal cancer, your risk rather of colorectal cancer. So even for those who are actively working out, who will carve out 40 minutes to go work out if they have a sedentary job, there now is data to support that can elevate your risk. So, what's the solution with that? I think it's more simple than we think it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That people think exercise. Oh, if I, usually the all or nothing mentality.
Yeah.
If I couldn't go to the gym, I might as well. I can't do anything. But there's so much that we can do in between. I always, talk about when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm putting my moisturizer, I try to be moving. Instead of there doing nothing, I try to be standing up or doing some squatting. Try to, if again, you're aware, you want to be moving more. And when you're sitting, trying to be, a call came in, stand up. Talk to that person standing up.
Setting timers. So if
Timers,
I am pretty regimented on my schedule, in part because of my ADHD. I have to kind of.
I envy you.
I stick with certain batch working times where I'll work for a certain period of time and then I'll set a timer and get up and walk around. And so, even if you do that, even if you have back-to-back meetings, knowing that you can either schedule 10 to 15 minutes between meetings so you can get up and walk around, or just as you said, set a timer, and when that timer goes off, you take that call and you're walking around.
And so people can do talk meetings too, even within the same, if you're an organization, like, okay, let's keep talking, but instead of sitting each other in the desk, can we talk? And, do that. So again, it's a mindfulness thing that, okay, I have to do this. I want to do that. My partner, this person is going to benefit as much as I am. And then it might be more interesting, we might be even more creative.
Yes, exactly. One little tip on that. I find that if I am doing even a phone call, I'll do it on a Zoom platform or meetings, and then have it recorded in so that I can get the notes, so that I can be moving around and not feel like I have to be sitting at the desk taking notes, and then I can go back and review the notes. It's another way to really revisit a conversation, but in addition to it, get that movement in, which lowers your risk. And then muscle loss. This is more about working out, but the loss of muscle and not doing resistance training can elevate your risk of colorectal cancer, and it lowers your chance of living a long life.
And it's, I don't know if many people know, but people might not know that kids my age in their 30s, they're starting to lose muscle.
Yeah.
And You don't use it, you lose it. And this is the same thing with the brain. But doing resistance training, it's not for looks. I mean, if you want to do it for looks, that's fine. But your brain and your gut and all the cells in your body will benefit from that. Is that moment of resistance. And it's so interesting. It's the stress that you're doing in the muscle and the bones is when you break those cells in there, those tissues that the cells have to regenerate, and the tissues have to regenerate makes the signal, and that's the whole cascade that the whole body benefits from.
Well, and that's, if we can link our episode about stress and habits in this as well, but that's an example of stress. That's a really positive thing that helps us to stave off certain kinds of cancers, but then also promotes longevity and mental acuity. And that's one thing that has become such a big priority for me, is to make sure that my brain and my body, and the two work together, are working well into long later years. And one thing that we should talk about regarding muscle is, excuse me, it impacts your ability to regulate insulin. And
yes.
that is so important.
Yes, especially, people, I mean, for everyone, but everybody that is like in that diabetic already or pre-diabetic state, it's such a powerful thing to do. Just something simple. As a family, go after a walk after a meet, or you're at the desk and you can't do anything. You can start moving your feet up and down like this, activating your muscles, like if you're nervous.
Yeah.
And that is, you're using their muscles. You have lunch. I mean, it's going to help you to wake up, to stay awake too. You have the lunch. Where do you think that blood is going to go to power? If you're starting moving your legs, your blood needs to go to that part of your body because you're moving it very, very fast. And that keeps you awake probably. It keeps your blood flowing and it regulates your blood sugar. Simple, something that you can do even sitting.
Yeah, like if you're taking an extended airplane, moving your legs is a really good one. Obviously getting around and walking around too, but just calf raises while you're seated can help too. It's small. It's a small thing.
But knowing, now that you know, so give it a try because there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can tell us what happened. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Well, and we're all about promoting experimenting with yourself. So while this is about lowering your risk of colorectal cancer and all kinds of cancers, it's really about taking ownership of your health and figuring out that you can be so empowered to make these small little changes, and they can have, some of them may not have a huge impact, but others may have a dramatic impact quickly.
And people that are older, I started doing changes after I was almost 60. So people that...
She doesn't look that at all.
Thank you.
No, not even
people
close.
that are older think like, I might, what am I going to do? It might not... There's so much you can do, especially for your brain and for your gut health. But also, when you have kids or even your friends or a loved one that you want to help that person, and they might be hesitant to do it, but they might see you doing the change. It's such a powerful thing that
for sure.
you be the example, and then they see the changes that you're doing. Wow, that has so much power. And I've seen it even with the people. I did it because of me, and then little by little, I have some of my sisters, my brother, let's talk about that. Tell me a little bit more, and they're curious about their own health, and that is powerful.
Yes, super powerful. So the other thing that is a hidden risk that we don't necessarily even connect with colorectal cancer or any kind of cancers is sleep debt. So not getting enough sleep, chronic sleep loss, not getting enough sleep on a regular basis. In the last 10 years, specifically in the last 3 or 4, I think there's been so much research to the point that it's one of the biggest industries now. In the next couple of years, it will be one of the biggest industries, but that sleep is perhaps the most important.
Every time we mention something
yeah.
about sleep, we said we're going to have an episode
Yes.
of sleep, and we haven't done it yet.
Yes, exactly. But soon we'll have a podcast on that.
We should probably have 2 episodes of that because it's such a huge topic, and then we can go over the how our body works on that. But when we sleep, our brain benefits, but our gut sleep, it benefits because it sleeps. We need the sleep to regenerate. It's kind of like the cleaning process of the brain and the gut at the same time.
Which is interesting because when we were talking about the lack of fiber and then the ultra processed foods, if you may be guilty of consuming too many ultra processed foods, not having enough fiber, maybe eating lunch meat or some of that processed meat, and you're not sleeping enough, then the lack of sleep means that your body can't clean out the way it's naturally meant to. So you're adding this toxic load, and then you're not allowing the body to manage it, and then done over a repetitive long-term period of time. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. We can see the results.
So you're putting something that is dangerous. In addition, you're not allowing the body to help you clean up that from your body, from the system as well. And in addition to that, doing that dangerous food and eating late also, it can be interfering with the sleep that by itself.
Yes.
So I always say start with the low-hanging fruit. Start whichever thing that makes sense, that it works, that you feel that, I can probably do that. Start with that and do it just a tiny step.
Well, with sleep, and I'm reading these facts right now, suboptimal sleep, which is between 7 and 9 hours, and everybody's different. My body does not actually need 7 hours fully, but that's the average between 7 and 9. Suboptimal sleep increases your risk of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, depression, obesity, unfavorable blood pressure, imbalance in blood sugar, and can impact your cholesterol in conjunction with elevating your risk of CRC.
That's from the American Heart Association.
Yeah, from the American Heart Association. So if that's not enough of fear factor, evidence, and enough to scare you into going to bed now.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of, this is what I like about lifestyle medicine. You fix your sleep. You decrease the risk for so many other things. Not that you improve it, We face it. And it doesn't mean that you're going to have an overnight, like with friends or whatever, or, a party, and then you mess it up for life either. I don't believe in all or nothing. So it's just a matter of being consistent. Again, that little step. I've listened to many of the doctors that treat adults, and the patients that they've had better results are those that decided to do a very little step, but to be consistent with that. And I was listening to this doctor. He said that this patient, I told her, go to the front of the driveway every day. And this is all she did. And she's like, okay, I can go to the corner now. I can go. And in a matter, and then she added, let me add one more fruit. And within a matter of few months, her health improved so dramatically. And but she was consistent with it. It's like, and this is the thing. It's not how much you do, but you want to be consistent with that.
Exactly. And, to go a little deeper into sleep, on my personal journey, sleep has always been a challenge. I have ADHD. And so for a lot of people that are neurodivergent, it's hard to wind yourself down. Your sleep-wake cycles can suffer or are just not regulated in the same way. So for the last 6 months, I've always been consistent about sleeping, but just a little erratic in my sleep-wake times. And always the same wake, but sometimes going to bed later. And so now I've been much more consistent in my sleep and wake time within a 30-minute window. And, I track my data and my restoration and my deep sleep and my body rejuvenation according to the data that I experience has improved exponentially. But in conjunction with that, my ability to focus, and I do not medicate, but my ability to focus has enhanced so substantially just with that one small change where you might not think it's a huge deal, but it's made a tremendous difference in my life.
And that's talking about small changes too. celebrate your wins. This is so wonderful.
Yeah.
And your brain is celebrating for you, but you
for
physically
sure.
be, yay, I did it. I did it, and I was able to do that, and I'm able to do these tiny things for me.
Yeah. So let's work to keep our chronic sleep debt low in order to keep our risk lower. And then the bigger disease connection. So, this goes back to other things that we know are risky behavior, but we still have kind of normalized them in everyday life. Tobacco use, that's one thing. The lack of community and connection. And this isn't in our notes, but this is something that you and I talk about on a regular basis. The isolation, the way our culture has changed so dramatically has impacted our health and wellness. So I'm going a little off script on this, but I know that Dr. Yolanda feels really strongly about this. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my daughter today, actually, on the way here, and she moved to San Diego, and she was telling me how they put their Wednesdays they see a show, can't remember what show they see.
She's newly married.
She's newly married.
Yeah.
And they go partner with her in-laws. And every Wednesday they meet at each other's house, and somebody does the food, the dinner, and the other one does the dessert. And that's being like the thing that they do on Wednesdays to watch whatever show they're doing. And it doesn't matter that they're sitting. It doesn't matter what type of food they're preparing. It's that connection that they have is such a valuable thing for their health of all of them. And that continuity, again, is a matter, that consistency, it's very valuable. And it's been proven that it's a preventive medicine for many illnesses.
Well, and that intergenerational connection that you have really
Yes.
introduced to me, and I'm so close with my parents and love them, but I did not grow up in a model of living that was so intergenerationally connected. And it's been such a blessing to have a window into your family and your community in that is built into the infrastructure. And the more that people can live more intergenerationally and socialize with the elders and the cousins, and even if they're not real cousins, embracing
love
people,
cousins.
yeah, exactly. Then that's crucial and really essential. So anything else that we want to bring up about colorectal cancer, or just in general, any facts that we think are important?
No, I think we went over the most salient things, and I think I cannot stress enough that it is doable, is in our power to be able to shift this, and with little changes at a time. It's just think, what can you do? And add it. I love the addition rather than subtraction. Let me remove this from, I cannot do this. No, let me add this new thing, new habit, new thing in my plate. Just addition rather than subtraction is so much easier for our human.
So in closing, before we do our Spanish recap, build your meals around fiber, crowd out using healthy foods, walk for 10 minutes after every meal, reduce or eliminate processed meats, protect your sleep, your environment, the timing of your sleep, your routine, protect all of it. Strength train weekly if you can, or bi-weekly, and move on a regular basis. That goes back to movement. And then work in some movement snacks. I like to call them movement snacks.
I like that. Yes.
Yeah, and then small fixes really outperform big intentions that lack consistency. So small, consistent, with accountability. And so if you want to bring us to our Spanish recap.
Un poco en español. Sí. Estamos hablando de, antes del revolú. Estamos hablando de cáncer en el colon y en el recto. Y estamos hablando de qué cosas pueden prevenir eso. Y hay muchas cosas que la gente no sabe, muchas personas no saben que está en su poder de hacer, no solamente la genética. Hay gente que sí que la genética influye, pero hay muchas cosas que se pueden hacer. añadir más fibra. Eso significa cualquier planta que le guste, como le guste, cuando le guste, todos los días, mientras mejor. Añadir y eliminar. La otra cosa es eliminar las comidas, las carnes que son procesadas. El salami, el pepperoni, el chorizo. No es que eso no se lo coman, porque lo difícil, lo malo es que coman demasiado todos los días por mucho tiempo. Por ejemplo, los niños, si están comiendo eso todos los días, por año tras año, es muy probable que aumente el riesgo de cáncer cuando sean adultos. Y empieza en la casa, empieza con los padres, como ejemplo. Así que tratar de que no sea algo de día a día. Dormir, súper importante para muchas cosas, no solamente para la salud del cerebro, pero para la salud del tracto gastrointestinal. Hacer ejercicios de fuerza para poner los músculos más fuertes ayuda a la mente, ayuda al sistema digestivo también. Y tener en consideración que pequeños cambios, pero que sean consistentes, ahí está la clave de todo. Y yo estoy segura que todos lo pueden hacer. Nos dejan saber si han probado algo de esto, que les funciona. Nos encanta saber. Muchas gracias.
So that has brought us to the end of another episode of the Compass Method. And this is Dr. Yolanda Rivera-Caudill, a lifestyle medicine pediatrician. We'll have information about her pediatric clinic in the show notes. I'm Chelsea Dye, a lifestyle medicine coach and consultant, wellness consultant. Together, we have Purpose in Plants, a lifestyle solution academy, which will also be in the show notes. And everything else you saw today, check below for the show notes. And
Yes.
we look forward to having you join us once again to help you discover your true north using lifestyle medicine principles, one small step at a time.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.